I'm about to go back to the US after being away for 6 months, and all I've been thinking about is how much my body image and my self esteem has gotten better since I left. I'm Sarah. I'm a life and mindset coach for women. I help them have strong body image and kick ass self esteem and self confidence in every area of life. And I left the US for the first time for like a prolonged period of time 2.5 years ago when I came to Bali. Long story short, I've been here ever since. I spend usually 6 to 12 months out of the US at a time. I visit once or twice a year, and that twice a year is coming up in 14 days. I will be back in the States. So, looking back on it, I've realized three major ways that being in the US and in any more Western country really messes up your body image and your self esteem in such a subconscious way that you don't even realize it's happening. And the reason that you need to be aware of this is so that you can realize that it's not just you can't heal in the environment that hurt you, but I'll go one step further and say you don't realize how much your environment is impacting you until you change it. And changing your environment is not just leaving the country, which was totally amazing for me. It's changing your internal environment and your self-talk and how your brain works, and realizing that you have neuroplasticity, the ability to change your beliefs, change how your brain thinks about things, but that your physical environment and the society around you has such an influence over that. So, a couple years ago, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, I was in the peak of my eating disorders. I was struggling so much with my body image. Getting dressed was absolute hell every single day. I would not wear a bikini. I basically just sat on the sidelines all summer long and hated what my body looked like, obsessed over every single thing that I ate, every single thing that people said about me, if it was a compliment or an insult, if they thought I was good enough. Everything got to me and bothered me about how I looked or what people thought about how I looked or who I was or how loud I was. Everything made me overthink myself. And I've gone through so much healing, a lot of recovery processes, and so much in the meantime. But one of the major things that changed in the last 5 years was 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I started traveling more. And first, I started traveling just outside my hometown, and I would go somewhere I'd never been before, or I'd go places alone in my hometown, right? And then I started going a little bit farther away from home, and I'd go on like an overnight solo hiking trip. And then I started going across the country, which for me is Massachusetts, Cape Cod, where I grew up, to New Mexico or California or Arizona. I love the Southwest, like Southern Utah is amazing. So beautiful there. But I started doing more and more environment changing. And long story short, I eventually took the trip to Bali, realized how good it felt to be out of the US for these major reasons and the ways that it's different that I never realized were different. And I realized that I didn't want to go back, at least unless I'm just visiting my parents, like I will be in a few weeks. The first thing that I realized is massively different and so subjective to your environment, but it just feels so pervasively like the truth, is beauty standards. So, for example, I am gloriously tan, and it is one of my favorite things about my skin. I've got that Greek Portuguese blood. Thank you, great grandma, great grandpa. Being this tan here in Southeast Asia is not not it. Not it. For the local people, I went to the nail salon once, getting my nails done. So she's holding my hand, and we've got our hands basically interlocked because she's doing my nails. And she's like, "Oop." She's like, "We're the same color." I was like, "Yeah, we are. I'm super tan." And she was like, "That's so funny because when I drive, I wear gloves, I wear long sleeves, and it's 95 degrees here." She covers all of her skin because here it's just simply different. It's not right or wrong, it's just different. The beauty standard is that she wants as pale skin as possible. And if you go to the pharmacy, you'll see that the deodorant all has like pearl skin, bleaching your skin. It literally has bleach in it sometimes to whiten your skin. The makeup look, a lot of times, how like 15 years ago we used to put way too much bronzer on in the US. It's like the absolute opposite. It's so much like white powder to make their skin look lighter. And not everybody does it, right? But you see that beauty standard emerge. And so it was just such a comfort for me That like I value having tan skin. I was raised to believe that, and I'd be lying if I said that I didn't love it. I just realized though that I was taught to love it. Like we think that we do these things for ourselves, but we really realize like somebody else taught me to value having my nails done, to hate when they grow out, to want tan skin, to believe it makes you look thinner, to want to whiten my teeth, to want to have longer eyelashes. Like somewhere else in the world, the opposite is true. And I find so much comfort in that as a mindset coach for women who primarily helps people with their body image. I have clients all the time who are like, "You're so tan. I hate how pale I am." And I tell them, like, if you came here, the local girls would love your skin. It actually makes them feel so comforted. And I just find it to be such a beautiful representation of like somewhere in the world, you are somebody's vision of beauty. So why not be your own? Why not be your own unique version of beauty without all of these standards that we were taught to want and believe we should be? It is exhausting trying to keep up with that when you could just truly be yourself and embrace the beauty of being someone that looks unique. The second out of third major ways that traveling and changing my environment has healed my body image is facing language barriers every single day. I think that in the past, I was a bit of a victim, to be honest. Like, I took everything personally. I was like, you're making a really inappropriate body comment because someone would comment on something that, they meant as a compliment, but it was maybe something I was insecure about. Or they would comment, I'm not talking like a blatant, like, oh my God, you've lost weight, you look better. But they basically draw attention to an insecurity of mine without even realizing it. And I would take it so personally. However, being all around the world, meeting people from so many different countries, someone for every letter of the alphabet, these unique, beautiful names that I experience when I shake someone's hand and meet someone new, is I realize that communication is just simply not a skill that everybody has. And I mean that in the language barrier sense of like, we're all talking in English, and that's not everybody's first language. And so they're going to say things that are very blunt. But it opened my eyes as well to generational language barriers or emotional intelligence language barriers of like, you just don't get it or you don't see it the same way I do. And although I have boundaries and although there are things that are inappropriate to say, we take so much more personally than we need to so much of what people say, when in reality, I just realized that I didn't have to overthink what was going on in someone else's mind. They could have their reality, they could have their language or their way of seeing the world, and I can have mine, and both are so real. Both are so valid because this world is so big and it's so diverse. And with that in mind, the maybe craziest way that this has all helped heal my self esteem and my body image is to realize that you're normal, including who you think you should be, or what you think you should do or look like, or how others should behave, or what we should value. But even just down to like what you think is healthy to eat, what you think is unhealthy to do, your normal is so real for you. My normal is so real for me, right? Like my routine in the day, what I eat, what I like, what I don't think is good. And someone else's normal is completely different, like completely different. Like the food that we eat here, completely different. The fruits that grow on the trees that are cheap in the market, like it blows my mind that these superfoods in the US, like a dragon fruit, are like the equivalent of bananas. Like they're just so common and so affordable here. It's crazy. They grow on trees or on bushes, short trees. I don't know. But somebody else's normal is so real for them, and yours is so real for you. And it's a beautiful thing to travel and see, like, okay, what you think is breakfast food, completely different from me, and both are fine. What you think is what you should eat and drink and do when you're sick, completely different for you than it is for me, and that's fine. What you think bodies should look like, what a healthy body looks like, completely different for you. I've met people from all over the world, and depending on where they are, they all have very different opinions of what my body should look like. And you know whose opinion I value the most? Not any of theirs, but my own. I've just realized that there's so many out there, that if I'm going to listen to anyone, I might as well listen to myself, because I'm the only person that knows what it's like to be in my body on my best days, on my worst days, in my younger years, in my older years. I am the only person that's going to be with me for the whole ride. So if there's anyone I listen to about how I should look, I want it to be me. What I really want you to remember about environment is that you don't realize how much yours is impacting you until you change it. And that is an incredibly powerful step to take. You can do that in your real physical world. You can also do that in your real internal world. And again, the life and mindset coaching that I do is a combination of both. So if this resonates with you, if you want to have these kinds of experiences, whether it's in your lifestyle or just in your way that you see the world and see yourself, book that consultation with me. We will chat it through. It's a free 30 minutes. You can't go wrong by showing up for that call and showing up for yourself. If there's one thing you do for yourself today, this week, let it be that. And I will be so excited to meet you and be so proud of you for taking the step that most people won't, which is actually making the change, not just wanting to make it. I'm Sarah. I post a new video every week. Please leave a comment about what resonated with you here so I can keep making videos that you will love and that will help you. And I will see you next time. I love you.